Hello and welcome to Warframe. My name's Todd, also known as Magic, and this is of course Warframe. Starting somewhere different than where we usually start. A new update just happened. Update, I believe it's 2210, which they've titled Chimera has happened. So in this new update, we've been greeted with a new daily tribute system, something that they've been meaning to, Digital Extremes has been meaning to rework for some time. I just logged in and I wanted to show this off just because I wanted to show people what they could kind of look at for the future. So this reward, of course, I think is automatic for the first time you log in after this new update. I'm not positive. I got it on my other account as well, so maybe not. Who knows? But if you wanted to buy Platinum, 50% off is not a bad choice. Let's see. So if you click this, this will show effectively what your milestone reward could be. Next milestone reward. Typically there should be something here to show what it is. It doesn't appear to have it, so let's claim this, and well, I wish I could show you more about that. Effectively, the change to this system just mostly means that there's more choice when it comes to those rewards. Before, the rewards were set at a certain amount of days. Now you can kind of pick and choose what rewards you'll kind of get, and it's much easier to focus on certain rewards at certain periods of time. There's lots of videos out there with recommendations as to what to pick and what are some of the best things to go for are. I know that there's weapons and mods that you can get only from those rewards. So it's definitely something to look at to figure out and plan out what you would like to get from those. If in one of these videos we get one of those rewards, I will show that off and try and recommend what I would pick in that scenario. Last time we completed the Jupiter Junction, and we've completely unlocked Jupiter, which means we can head towards Europa, and we can also head towards Saturn. So we've actually completed everything we need to for the Europa Junction, aside from crafting a Warframe Spectre. But we do need to complete everything else. To get the Quest of New Strange, I believe we have to complete, yes, we have to complete the Europa Junction. So we'll have to complete the Europa Junction before we do Saturn. And that's okay. We also got our Mastery Rank 4 test, which we will be jumping into here in a second, but I just wanted to go over and make sure that we didn't have anything. Yes, we had a couple things building. I wanted to pick those up. I also wanted to show off the other thing that was changed in this update. And since we just got some gear, we can show it off. So the other thing that was changed was our fancy little gear wheel here. Now, it was changed in not only looks, but also in function. So I have my gear wheel bound, of course, I've stated this before, but we can throw in just a bunch of stuff. Let's start at this one, we'll throw in that. We will throw in, do we have anything else? Yes, we do. We have, I want to put, let's change the order of how we have things here. So forgive me for a moment as I go and change it more to how I have it on my other account, just because I tend to find it works out a little bit better. We're going to throw our codex scanner in here. We're going to throw our synthesis scanner there. We're going to throw our kinetic siphon trap right there. We will leave the fishing spear there, and the Nosym cutter we'll put in there. What else can we throw in? Well, we can throw in
the system continues to fall into chaos. Check navigation for active invasions.
We can also throw in, we'll buy one remote observer, just because we can. We'll throw that in there. So this is the major change that they've made to this gear wheel. Is previously you only had 12 slots at maximum. Now you can keep adding gear into this wheel, and it will just expand based on how much stuff it can hold. I believe this is you can hold 99, I believe is what they stated, 99 items. So there's no longer a restriction on this. It's pulled up and it kind of goes into this interesting spiral system, which relates to a quest later on in the game, but that's pretty much how it works. The emotes system is changed as well, and it functions the exact same way, so you can keep adding emotes similarly to how we had it previously. Oh, that was one we already had there. Let's throw that in there, and we'll throw handshake in there just to show it off. And you can just keep adding emotes until you've filled every single slot with emotes. So it says tab right here, I should note. When you press tab, for me that doesn't do anything. I'm not sure if that's just because I've rebound a key somewhere. Right click changes it for me. If you're having problems with that, just use right click. At least that works for me. I don't know how that'll work for you exactly. Warframe's not known for being exactly bug-free, as some of the bugs that have been reported lately with some cosmetic items and things of that nature. If you do find a bug, of course, you can always report it on the Warframe forums. Alright, so I wanted to check as well
operator.
if I could, yes, so I can equip Inflected Clip now on my weapon. I'm going to remove Piercing Hit. Let's see, how many more? So it'd be 5. We do have enough to fully upgrade a Infected Clip on our Boldor, which I am going to do. These are the mods we just got previously. Let's change this by sort by rarity. I just find the sorting by rarity is more effective for me, because I can find things a little bit easier. We're going to go with an Infected Clip. Now we're going to upgrade that as far as we can without spending all of our credits. That should do. So that will now give us the damage type that I talked about so much in the past, and that is Corrosive, of course, on our Boltor. If I had a Serration mod, which is the pure damage mod for the primary weapons, I would put that on as well. Let's throw that on there. Okay, so that effectively gives us Corrosive. We're sitting pretty there. That our Bolter is going to do a lot of damage to just about every single enemy now. Let's see, do we have anything else we can put on? Lados, pretty much fully upgraded. What about our Heat Sword? We could upgrade these mods. That would probably be worthwhile because we're about to do a mastery test. So, mastery tests, of course, as we've seen previously, can be a lot of different things, but a lot of times they do involve combat, so it's best to equip the weapons that you think are best at the time. Now, I only have one Fever Strike, and because I know I'm about to level up the Heat Sword and move on to the Galantine, I probably don't want to upgrade my only Fever Strike just yet, so we're going to upgrade Shocking Touch as much as we can without breaking the bank. And I know that this is the one I have equipped because of the little icon that looks like a little hexagon at the bottom when I mouse over. It's this little icon right here. I'm not really able to mouse over it, but you can kind of see it right there. That one I know is the one equipped. I didn't do that previously with my the one that I have equipped on my Boltor, just because I wasn't thinking about it. But yeah, I know that this is the one I have equipped. Plus, I have 2 other Shocking Touches, and I know I don't have them equipped because they're still stacked. When you equip mods, they tend to unstack and show themselves in the arsenal. Alright, so we fully upgraded everything. We've got our Rhino Warframe all set to go. We've pretty much got everything we can. Let's take this mastery test. After we're done with the mastery test, we'll be building Spectre, and after that we will be heading towards the Europa Junction. So,
You have proven your skills with weapons, Tenno. But what of your endurance? Can you survive this onslaught?
surviving an onslaught, that we can do. So our Boltor does a sizable amount of damage, and also does a good amount of damage now to Infected thanks to being corrosive. So we can just deal with all these guys relatively easily. And of course, Rhino doesn't really die that easily, so we're sitting pretty. This will be just a wait it out and defeat all the enemies pretty much. Show off a little bit of our Heat Sword too. slicing through our enemies. Oh, excuse me, I think I burped a little bit. Alright. So it should be noted that infected are some of the easiest enemies in the game. A lot because they can only melee attack you. If you had, say, a squishy Warframe, more effective strategy might be to just jump around on these upper platforms, because the only two ways they can really attack you is those tiny little bolts, which tend to be very inaccurate, that the chargers shoot, and melee attacks, which of course don't tend to be very effective. Very easy to dodge, roll out of the way, or just space ninja around them, or cut them down before they're even able to do anything, really. The volatile runners, I have talked about in the past, they explode, like that one just did there. If you kill them with a melee weapon before they explode, they aren't any threat, really.
A formidable performance. This test is now complete.
Oh, we
Another
finally got that
job
glitch to
well
work.
executed.
I moved just slightly as the test finished there, and it causes this strange glitch where you spin endlessly in this finish screen, but we've finished our Master Rank 4 test. We're making our way through it. Alright, so now we're a novice. It shouldn't be too much longer before we're actually Master Rank 5, which is great for us. Now we finish that test, I can show off some other things as well. There was 2 new weapons added with this update, the Chimera update. The Pupacist? Is that how you say that? I believe it's a staff. Yes, it's a staff. That's a viral impact damage dealing staff, but sadly the only way to get it is from a clan dojo. So if you don't have that, you're going to have to work towards getting it. Master Rank 7 as well, so we really couldn't use it. The other weapon that they just added was the
alert has begun. It will be
Corpus
marked on navigation.
Glaive, the Falcor. Glaives are interesting weapons because they're thrown melee weapons. I don't know if I've really talked about them too much before, but it's Master Rank 8 and has the same kind of requirements. You have to get it from the Energy Lab in your clan dojo, so neither of those weapons will be seeing anytime soon. At the very least, not on this account. It'll be sometime before we're able to get our dojo up and running and be able to start building things in the laboratories. I believe that was all that was added weapon-wise. Oh, and we were also going to take a look at what weapons we just unlocked. So, mainly primary weapons, I think. Yes, we unlocked the Heck. So the Heck is a great shotgun. Can we build it already? No, we don't have enough credits. So if we build up a little bit more credits, we can build the Heck. The Heck is a fantastic weapon starting out. It does a good amount of damage, good stats overall. It's a fantastic shotgun just in general. Pick it up, I highly recommend it. It's as good, if not better than the Vectis, I'd say, for most content. Far better than the Boar or the Strun, I really believe, as a shotgun. When we reach Master Rank 5, the Comb will unlock, which will probably be a weapon that we focus on. The Comb is a fantastic starting weapon as well. It's a shotgun, and it has a very interesting mechanic. But we'll worry about that when we get there. Oh, we should probably look at the secondary and melee weapons in case anything good unlocked. So the Aephyrus, I believe, unlocked. Not positive on that one. Yes, the Aephyrus unlocked, so we could start heading towards building the Aephyrus. Again, we just don't have enough credits. Credits, of course, become much easier to get in the later parts of the game, so the faster we're able to get through the star chart, the easier it'll be to not have to worry about that. Did also unlock, I think, the Vasto. Yes, the Vasto is another fantastic weapon we can get, which becomes the I think it's the A Vasto, or is it the AK Vasto? No, it's the AK Vasto at Master Rank 8, and that's a very, very good weapon. The AK Zani also unlocked. Mirage is specifically the weapon that was released with the Mirage. They're dual pistols, and they tend to be very fast firing, but any sort of fast firing weapon tends to be very good as a secondary. Tends to be, not always. So I keep exiting, but I just want to take another look at melee weapons. What else? So the Guandao. This is an old friend of mine and a very, very useful weapon. Probably the best polearm that you can get your hands on early in the game, and one that will take you to the end of the game very easily. The Guandao is amazing, but sadly you have to get it at a Tenno lab at your dojo. So if you're already in a clan that has that unlocked, I highly recommend picking it up. It's something that will carry you through the game, and you can use pretty much, even in the end game content, it's still a very strong weapon. Let's see. There's lots of other weapons, of course, that unlocked. Don't see anything that I can think of that might be of note, at least not at the moment. If I do see something in the future as I'm looking through there, we'll take a look at them. Once you start getting more master ranks, it's really great to just keep looking at the weapons, seeing what unlocks, seeing how things go. But for the moment, I think that's all we've really got to do. Okay, so with Jupiter unlocked, we did unlock the ability to get neural sensors. I don't think we had the ability to get those before. Phobos, nope, doesn't look like we did. So neural sensors are another resource that are kind of hard to come by. Highly recommend going on to something like Sinai or Chimera or IO and staying a bit to farm up some of those resources, but we're not worried about that at the moment. Let's set it to solo because I don't want to mess with anybody else who's playing at the moment. And we're going to head over... Oh, right. We also have to craft a Warframe Spectre, so let's head over here and see if we can't do that. Gear, Warframe Spectre. Oh, we need more ferrite. That's unfortunate. And we also need more credits. We don't have enough credits, so we don't have enough ferrite. Might actually have to spend some time on Mars or even Jupiter here and farm a little. If you've never done a extended farm, of course, I highly recommend either defense or survival missions. Spear is a great place to farm on Mars. Io, great place to farm on Jupiter. Don't really think that there's any major places aside from those that we can get to at the moment. There's some others in the later planets, such as Sedina and Pluto, that are great places. Eris is a good place, but those are pretty much near the very end of the star chart, so we won't be getting those for some time. Let's head back into solo and we will go jump straight into rescue. Alright, so I'll probably head off after this episode, go to Spear, do a little bit of farming so we can get some credits and some ferrite. If I have to, I'll head back to Earth to get the ferrite. I might do that before the next episode or after this episode, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. We're going to worry about getting across the planet first. We're going to do these 3 missions, and that will kind of end out this episode.
Suggests that our person of interest is in the vicinity. Search for the hostage and bring them home.
We're not going to worry about completing the Europa junction just yet, just because of effort it'll take to do it. It's kind of above what we're able to do. Oh, neural sensors right there. Fantastic to get those early on. Let's just head on through. Not gonna worry about any of these guys or even that alarm, really.
They spotted you.
We just need to focus on getting
There's no telling what the captors are doing to our rescue target. You need to find the holding cell immediately.
Oh, I also haven't talked about this tile set yet. Jupiter tends to be a Corpus facility. It's kind of hard to describe really, but very machine-like. I believe it was one of the first tile sets that they kind of designed for Warframe. Don't know if it was the very first, but it was definitely one of the first. Alright. There's a lot of interesting intricacies to it. A lot more vertical than some of the other tile sets. And they've got these cool little vents which kind of boost you up. If you're flying across them, of course, they do raise your momentum, kind of allowing you to glide in an upwards direction. Pretty much an air vent in a video game. It's what you'd expect. Lots of elevators too. Sadly, lots of unskippable elevators. Not much we can do about that, but kind of just press through. Alright. want me to go? Alright, through there.
Watch yourself. The alarms attracted a bursa.
Bursas. I believe I've talked about those before. Tough enemies. Lots of different types. Not super threatening if you can get behind them though. Alright, just running through. I wish I had more to really talk about this update.
Careful. If
But
the
they
wardens
kind
detect
of
you, they will surely initiate the execution sequence.
chose to
The bypass is done. Go.
not include certain
Looks like
things
heavy
in the
activity
update.
ahead. This is the jail. Our hostage is in one of these cells.
Such as, I think they were going to talk about doing more actual content.
Captive to safety. Protect them at all costs.
Not that they did do a good amount of content with this update. I just really can't show it off because it doesn't really pertain to what we had done so far. I do want to kill all the work, so we can get a better Spectre and maybe by chance build them. Don't know if we're really going to be able to. We don't have a lot of ferrite, of course, so probably won't be able to. Oh, there's the last ward. We really tear through them once we can get their shield down, thanks to our corrosive damage. But the shield doesn't really take a lot of damage from our Boltor. It doesn't take any less than normal, I don't believe, though. Crewman. I think that was the last ward. I don't see any others. Typically there are more than like 4 wardens. Let's just head out of here before our hostage gets shot too much. Have him die on us. Oh, let's not worry about that. Bursa, we're just gonna run away. Okay, so we got a level 3 Spectre. So there's 3 stars, of course, for Spectre. The different levels add on levels to the actual Spectre compared to the level of the enemies. Spectres are kind of weird in the way they spawn. Not unusual for a game like Warframe that's kind of endless when it comes to levels at times, but effectively the level of the enemies determines the level of your Spectre. So the higher rank of Spectre, though, with the more stars it has, the more levels it will get to begin with. Let's see, can we craft that? Ooh, almost. It is different requirement. It is a different requirement, which is good because if we get maybe the 2-star Spectre, maybe we could build that one. Well, again, we'll worry about that next time, I think. It doesn't take too long to build a Spectre. I don't only think it takes a couple minutes, right? Like 15, something like that. So we could definitely have started in an episode. Oh, no, it takes 8 hours. Alright, well, next episode we'll probably focus on farming then, I guess. Maybe I'll do that in between parts. That's kind of put me in a tough spot because I don't really want to wait 8 hours in between parts to unlock this junction. So I'll probably do it right after this part. We'll go over to Spear, we'll farm up the components we need. I'll confirm at the end of this episode that that's where I'll be farming. And I'll talk about what we found while farming. Ought to be nothing super special.
This is a mobile defense mission. You must deliver payloads and defend a number of locations while I break into the network. Be prepared for heavy resistance.
Nothing shocking about
do this without you.
Mobile defense here. I don't think we're gonna have any problems. Let's see. Where are we headed? That way? Simple enough.
Here is a terminal. Get in and get ready to defend.
The one nice thing I can say about this update, Chimera update, is that some of the UI has come and been updated. I know the loadout screen, I think, was one of the updates. And of course the gear update really is beneficial for late game players who are near the end of the game. It really is nice to have that, because there's lots of things you'll want to carry as gear. There's even a specific type of gear that they've allowed you to carry more of, which I'm not going to go super into, but if you've ever heard of the term vault runs,
continue to defend.
you should look into being able to hold more than one key. In the end of the game, of course, there's a specific type of endgame content where you have to hold a specific type of key to unlock the vault. And before, you could only hold one of those keys at a time. Now you can hold multiple. So if you didn't hear about that, that's definitely a nice change. They're saying currently that it isn't a bug, which is good, because it's nice to be able to do that sort of thing by yourself nowadays.
We have got to
And
find
the
the terminal.
rewards that you get from that event as well are very useful at the end of the game. It's kind of a shame that you had to get an entire group just to do it.
Location reached. Drop me in.
Now it's
and
much easier to
defend
do
our
it with
position.
just a single person or just 2 or 3 people.
I'm in, Tenno. This will take a moment.
One of the nicest things of Warframe definitely is just that it kind of allows you to play how you want. So the fact that an event such as an endgame thing that got you very good rewards that you almost needed to play and do certain things would be gated kind of behind content you had to have multiple people for was kind of annoying. Now that you can kind of do it solo, it's much easier to do it, or
Still
even just
working
a
on
smaller group.
Continue to defend.
So it's very nice and welcome change if that is something that they wish to keep. If it's something they revert, I'm gonna have to take all that back and say, oh well, you're playing a multiplayer game. If you don't want to play with other people, then what are you doing? Really? Oh, but of course I'm saying that as a person who's playing solo in that multiplayer game. I just really don't want to, invite hazards upon myself in these missions. Because I don't really have the best weapons. My Warframe isn't really fully leveled yet. So I would probably be a little bit slower than most other people who would be able to do these missions. And I don't want to really drag anybody down. Plus it kind of shows off and helps you to go solo sometimes, proving that you're really able to do it by yourself.
Spotted. Upload me and prepare to defend.
So I guess there's benefits to both ways, which,
I'm in,
again,
Tenno.
comes back to the whole argument of
This
it's
will
nice to
take
be
a
able to
moment.
choose. Alright. Boy, pulling through these enemies. Is that a bug? There appears to be a corpse right there that's just standing there with an enemy in sight of it. That's a bug I've never seen before. Perhaps it came with this update? Rather annoying, regardless. One other change that I believe that they made just a little bit ago to Rhino is while he's got his iron skin, they did give you a complete readout of what that iron skin does, or like how much damage it absorbs in the upper right of the screen. At a certain point that wasn't there. That is something that they added just recently. It's actually quite nice to have. Tells you when you're about to run out of iron skin.
The odds were against us, Tenno, but we did
I think
it.
they might have also
Mission
changed
complete.
the sound design for some of these attacks. Specifically that is definitely changed. The visual for that, if you look back at some of the older episodes, you can definitely see that that's definitely different. The ground slam visual that we've got there. I don't think they added... Yeah, they haven't added any different effect to it. It's still the same effect, I think. It's just the visual is a little bit different, and the sound is different. Interesting. I noticed that just now because I think the Shockwave MOAs as well have also changed their sound visual a little bit. Interesting. There are always minor updates such as that to Warframe because this game is relatively old at this point. It's gone through a good amount of years. Don't think you could legally buy beer in the state that I live in, but do think that it's definitely undergone a lot of change, so it's something that visuals, things like that, do get changed, of course. It's nice to see. I think that change is actually quite good. The cracks in the ground looks kind of interesting. Alright, so let's see. Let's check Mars real quick. Okay, so Mars doesn't have ferrites, so we'll go to Earth. Probably the best place to farm on Earth would be Lith. Lith is just a basic defense node. It's very easy to, you know, just sit there, pretty much gather resources. Oh, excuse me. So I'll probably go to Lith, gather the ferrite that I need for the Spectre, and then I'll probably go to Spear on Mars to gather credits and some other resources that we can get from Spear. Alright, so Carpo is just an exterminate though. Easy. After this, I'm going to end the episode, call it a time, because we've gone a little bit over what I was hoping to. I want to make this kind of a shorter episode. Last episode was very long, or longer than I was hoping. It takes forever to render, that sort of thing. No. Was it last episode or was it the episode before? I don't remember exactly.
You've been seen.
I think it was the last episode, though. Gather some resources as we run by. Alright, kill that guy. Kill that Moa. When you're doing these exterminates like this, your melee weapon actually tends to be far more effective at running through. Because you can do the sliding attack, of course, which if I can aim it correctly, criminies. Tends to be, oh, bump the mic a little bit there, sorry if you heard that. Tends to be very effective at allowing you to move while doing damage. But Rhino's not the fastest frame in existence running anyway, so gonna have to kind of deal with that as you go. 85 enemies, not too bad. Cut that guy down, cut this one down. Use our new attack there. I think the fire animation might have changed as well. Let's try that out. Oh, well, I was kind of hoping it wouldn't kill it instantly. Yeah. It looks to be more saturated. But maybe that's just to my eyes and this lighting, I'm not sure. More orangish. Used to be far more yellow, at least from what I know. But maybe my eyes are playing tricks. Murdered all the dudes. Slam down on that dude. Kill that guy. Explode the barrel. Let's see. It appears there's one above. Is it on this level? There is one on this level. That one. Kill that dude. Okay. Going through.
We've got robots inbound.
Robots inbound. Don't think I'm too worried about that. So we got an Oberon part from that extremist enemy. Oberon is a Warframe that's pretty good to have. It tends to be one of the first support Warframes that you can kind of get your hands on. Meaning, of course, that he heals your teammates. Very good early on, honestly, if you wanted to aim for him, but the way that you gather his parts is by killing extremist enemies, and his parts don't have a very high chance of, high probability I should say, of dropping in a good order, that is. You tend to get more, I think it's neuroptics and chassis, I think, than you do systems. Not positive on that though. I know one of the parts that you get for him is more rare than the others. So if you're specifically going for him, it tends to be a little bit of a pain. But if you play enough, you'll definitely have all of his parts eventually. By the time you're through with the star chart, really, you'll be kind of swimming in his parts. Killing enough extremist enemies kind of just happens over time. Okay. I do have to admit the visuals of the Jupiter Corpus, like facilities. I really like them. I think they're very clean, not as kind of busy as Ceres was with Grenier. Not as dirty looking either. It kind of plays into the whole idea of what the Grenier and Corvus are. Grenier, of course, being just manual labor.
Let's override the security.
We deal with kind of waste and other byproducts of factories and that nature. Where the Corvus tend to be the inventors, engineers, the higher-ups, businessmen, things of that nature. Oh boy. We're actually taking kind of a beating here. We don't have enough energy to get Iron Skin back up. Fire. Let's kill him. Must have missed him as I was running by there. We're getting kind of hit as well because our shields. Or maybe we should put healing return back on our sword so we can get a little bit of healing from that. There is a mod we can get later on though that'll be really beneficial to us as a Rhino. But that's not till much later. Anyways, for healing that is. And of course for energy, there's tons of different mods and items we can get to supplement that. Alright, almost killed enough enemies. Oh, neural array. Neural sensors, that is. Oh, I guess I should bring that up since I was talking about health and healing and energy. If you're having problems with that early on in the game, don't be surprised. Lots of things that'll be out there in the end of the game, though, that'll help you with that. Makes it far less of a pain to deal with. So don't be super worried about it early on.
Override complete. Move on.
Good there. Kill that one. Kill that one. Kill him. That. So those are mines. I think that animation has also changed. Mines from the mine olive spray. It might be this Guardian Extremis right here. Tend to look like that. Don't stand in that blue circle, it does a ridiculous amount of damage. Very quickly, too. Ooh, we are out of ammo for a bolter, out of shields for a Warframe. Man, it's just a bad day. We really need to beef up our defense here. Almost got killed just by simplistic enemies. That's a real shame. We have to figure out if we can't buff up our armor for our Rhino. Armor, of course, being probably the most effective thing that you can have on your Rhino because it increases the effectiveness of your Iron Skin. Only second to maybe ability strength.
You have broken their ranks and
we don't have either of those.
Another successful mission. Find extraction.
Alright. Let's just run to extraction. Not even worrying about any enemies because I'm afraid we'd die if we really did. Most of the time when you're bullet jumping around, whizzing past these enemies, they can't really do a whole lot to you. Benefits of being a space ninja and all that. Alright, in and out. Could have been a little bit more clean if we had avoided some damage, but that's okay. I think that'll kind of close out this episode. Wish I could do more, but it's just going to be very boring. Effectively farming from here on out so I can get enough resources to be able to build our Spectre here. I'm going to start the build for that after I'm done with this episode and I've farmed up the resources we need. Actually, we have enough credits already, so we'll probably just need the ferrite, which is good. Just got enough credits from that last mission, so we'll just farm up the ferrite, create a Spectre. I would really love to show off the kind of display for Spectres. Well, we'll definitely farm up the resources. I would love to show off the display and how that all works for Spectres, which is my main problem that I'm thinking of right now. What else could we do next episode? Well, I guess we could go across, get these 3 missions, unlock the Saturn Junction pathway. Yeah, I guess we'll do that. So next time we'll either focus on unlocking the Europa Junction or moving more across Jupiter, but we'll leave that until next time. Goodbye.